Hi guys, welcome to my channel, The Golden Cruiser. I'm Cindy, and today we're going to be talking about entertainment on Anthem of the Seas. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, you probably know that I just got back about 2 weeks ago from an Alaska cruise on Anthem of the Seas. So in this video, we're going to talk about what entertainment is on board. Now, there's plenty of live entertainment and things going on all over the ship at different times. My only complaint about that was that on some days we were going to back, entertainment events. And other days there was like hardly any. So I think they should have spread some of these out a little bit and made it, better for people so we're not running from one to another. But the entertainment was all really good. So let's take a look at some of the entertainment on board. The first thing is in the main theater. This is the Royal Theater or the main theater where they have the production shows. The first production show we saw was called The Gift. It was a very good show. I recommend everybody going to it. It was kind of sad at the end, especially for me, since my husband just passed away a couple years ago. And the theme of the gift is trying to make this man and his children happy again after their wife passed away. But it's very good. I would highly recommend going to see The Gift. The only other thing with that, it only played one day. I think they had an afternoon show and then the evening show, but that was it. It wasn't on anymore. Also in the main theater was We Will Rock You. Now, this is an excellent show if you like classic rock music, especially the music of Queen. This was a 2-hour show, and they kept going full force the whole 2 hours. I mean, there were some slow parts in it, but it was fantastic. Now, they were to have this for 2 nights. The first night was at 7:30. My son, granddaughter, and I, we all went and we were sitting there, and the ship was pretty rocky at this point. We were headed back from Alaska going to Victoria. And of course, the showrooms are always in the very front of the ships. So there was a lot of rocking, and it started bothering my son and my granddaughter. So they left to go back to the room, and I stayed to watch it, and it was excellent. So I couldn't wait for the next day because we weren't rocking as much then, so they could go to it. There was 2 shows the next day at 2:30 and 7:30. Well, in the morning, the cruise director came on with an announcement. They could not do the show because most of the cast was sick with the flu. So I was really sad that they couldn't do that. They said instead of having that show, they were going to put on a performance with just like 4 of the cast members singing, and it was called Voices of the Sea. So we did go to that. It was really good. They sang like Frank Sinatra type music, but it was good, but it was short. But at least it was something to see. Well, the next day, the cruise director came back on and said the doctor had cleared the cast that they could perform the We Will Rock You, that night, which was a day later than they should have performed. They just had to move some schedules around. I think the comedian was set to do an act in there that night, so they moved him to later. And so we went back to see We Will Rock You with my son and granddaughter. The only thing I noticed different, the main male character, he had been substituted for another male character. So I'm sure he's the one that was really sick and still couldn't perform. But the rest of the cast seemed to all be there. And if they weren't feeling good, you couldn't tell. It's a great show. I highly recommend it. So go see We Will Rock You. Let's talk about shows that were in the 270. Now, the 270, if you're not aware of this venue, is at the back of the ship up on deck 5. They have a cafe there, and then you can go eat into the 270 tables. There is 270-degree views of the ocean from the back of the ship. It's a beautiful venue. They have balconies and below. You just have to be careful when you're sitting in there because you may not know it if it's your first time in there. There are places in there that have plants on them during the day, but at night they take those plants down, and actually that's part of the stage. The performers will come up out of that, these different areas on the stage. And if you're sitting in a certain area, they have really big lamps in there you're not going to see. So what we did when we went to see Spectra's Cabaret, we sat up on the balcony on the first row, so we had a clear view of everything. So you just want to get there early enough so you could scope out where you want to sit for these shows so that you'll get a good view of every platform they have on the stage and all the platforms that rise up. I'll show you a little bit in these video clips. I do have separate short videos on all these performances, so you can go take a look at those. I haven't posted everything from Anthem of the Sea. I'm still working on it, but I do have the short videos from Spectra's Cabaret and The Gift, and I'm getting ready to put We Will Rock You up there. Also, if you look at my ship tour, I have a full ship tour, part 1 and part 2. There are clips of these performances in there also, so take a look at that. Another thing to know on if you're going to Spectra's Cabaret, which they have several nights on the ship, but you have to make a reservation. It's the only show or event on the ship that you have to reserve ahead of time. And this actually was available on our app to reserve before we even got on the ship. So like a week or two before, start looking on your app in the planner. They slowly start adding things, not a lot of stuff till you're actually on the ship. But Spectra's Cabaret was on there to reserve, and we reserved it. There was only one night left to see it. So you want to reserve that before you get on the ship to be able to see Spectra's Cabaret. And it's a wide range of music, craziness, fun, a really good show to go to. There was a lot of other parties in the 270 venue that we went to. We went to an 80s party. Now I noticed something, I mentioned this in my other video. Normally we go on a carnival cruise, and when there's like an 80s party, 70s party, white party, everyone dresses up like that. So of course we took our 80s costume, and they had a 70s disco party. We brought some costumes for that, not elaborate, but little things we brought to dress up. And we were the only ones dressed up. Nobody on Anthem of the Seas dresses up for these parties. So don't worry about that if you're thinking you have to take clothes to dress up in. Everybody just wore their regular clothes, except for us. But we didn't care. The cast was dressed up, and we were dressed up with them, so we were having a good time. So they have the 80s party. They have a Caribbean party in there where a Caribbean like calypso type band plays, and you can sit and listen to all these things, or there's a dance floor that you can go down on and dance, which we did. I'm keeping up with my son and granddaughter, but we were always down there dancing, or you can just sit and watch. They did a tribute to the military in there. We weren't really aware of this. We happened to stumble upon it. And I did have a little bit of a clip here. It was with the Bighorn Band performing the military songs and doing a tribute, and that was really good. They do a robot show in there. Now it's called the Robot Show, but there's not robots performing in there. What they do with these big glass windows they have in there that look out to the ocean from floor to ceiling, way above, way high, they put like a screen up there and then pictures. So it opened like a curtain, and there was fish up there playing. You'll see a little clip. I'll put it here. And then they have these robots that are above holding screens in front of them. Now these robots move the screens. They program these robots. Each robot was over $1 million for them to purchase. They program these robots to move these screens at certain times. You'll see a little bit of the screen movement I'm talking about. And most of the shows you go in there, like Spectre's Cabaret, you'll see the screens moving around and projecting different images. So that's why it's called the robot show, because these robots are holding the screens and moving them around. So that was a good show to go to. They only did that once. So a lot of these shows they do once. Then the last night, the farewell party they have in there, they do a fireworks show. So on the big windows again, where they make it like a projecting screen, it looks like fireworks are going off. And then they've got the cast up there dancing and singing, and you can go to the dance floor and dance. In this one, I just watched my grandson and daughter dance because I was pretty worn out from this cruise on the last night. So you can sit and watch and just enjoy the music and the sights you see. So there's a lot going on in the 270. They do play bingo in there. I saw it at least once that I was aware of, and have some kind of bands during the day, or you could just go in there, sit and relax. There's a bar in there, and there's a library up above the 270, which most people don't know about, hidden away in the corner. But you can get a good view up there, and it's pretty quiet if you want to relax. Another entertainment place was Boleros on board. They have a bar and it's a lounge. They have a dance floor and it's Latin music. So you have a live band in there playing Latin music. And I did see that they were doing karaoke in there on some nights. Now there's a pub on board, which is a really good pub, but usually very crowded at night. They did have a singer in there playing his guitar and singing. We never went in there at night. It was always too crowded. You couldn't get a seat unless you got there early. But that's another place that had entertainment. And then the Schooner Bar had a piano man in there that played nightly, and he would do different tributes to like Billy Joel or Elton John on different nights, and that's all in your planner so you can see what type of music he's singing and go to that. The music hall is another two-story venue which has various parties and bands and music and activities going on in there. We went to the silent party in there with the DJ playing music. And what it is, if you're not aware, the silent party, and I do have a video on the silent party, is short, so go look at that. You put headphones on, and your headphone's going to show up a color on the ear, either green or blue, and that's different songs. So you're the only one that can hear that music and everybody else that has these headphones on. So it's quiet in the room except for people singing to the songs and people dancing. I'll show you a little clip here what I mean. But that's really fun to go to in there. They had a house band called Funk It Up, playing in there. That you can go listen and dance to. They had just the DJ playing in there. They also opened this venue at night for the nightclub. I think from 12 to 2. My son went one night. It turns into a nightclub with the DJ. So a lot of things happen in the music hall. It's a very nice venue. There was a comedian on board. The very first night on the ship, they did a small little show in the production theater, the main theater. And they had one girl from the cast come out and sing. And then they had this comedian come out, and he did a little bit of his act, and he was funny. And he said he did have a late night show coming up for adults only at like 10:30, I think 10 or 10:30. Well, we couldn't go with my granddaughter, so we never saw his late night shows, but he's on the ship at various times. So all around the ship, at some point, there's something going on. There's entertainment everywhere. This is just like the live music entertainment. I'm going to have another video coming out that tells you things you can do on the ship if you want to be active, and then things you can do on the ship that are more laid back and relaxing. So look forward to that video coming out. But I wanted to put this out here. This is basically live entertainment, or, you know, the bands, the shows that were going on when we were on board. So take a look at my other videos. There's a lot of Anthem of the Seas videos out there and more coming all the time. So I want to thank you for stopping by and watching this video. If you liked my video, please give it a thumbs up. And please subscribe to my channel to help me grow. And I hope to see you all again real soon on the Golden Cruiser. Bye for now. Have a wonderful day.